Let's take a look at Sunday. It might be the final day of your final, semi-final, playoffs. It's just a Sunday in Roto, whatever. We're going to take a look at who's playing, who's in, who's out, and the things that are important for streaming. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and the poop deck is really what you think it is. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $20 off your first purchase. Also, lockedondaily.com. Check it out over there. Bang in, sign up. Sign up. Free inbox, delivers, newsletters. Yeah, that's what we do. We also sub over here and we double bang. Of course, it is Sunday that we're going to be talking about. We have got an early game, a couple of early games, 8 games on. We've got the random, what time is it? 3:30 p.m. Eastern game. We have got a 6 p.m. game, and then you start with the regular 7 p.m. games after that. But get ready for that early game coming up on Sunday. It is Pretzel Sunday in Luxembourg. So what's someone from Luxembourg called? It's a Luxembourgian, I'm sure. Luxembourgians, get your pretzels out. I believe it's to mark midway of Lent. I don't know. Anyway, it's Pretzel Sunday in Luxembourg. So we're here now to not talk anymore about pretzels, but to start talking about the Sunday action, the schedule, the way we've got to pay attention to this. We're still waiting on some injury reports to come through, but that's okay. We will do as best we can with what we know at the moment. Let's take a look at where the schedule goes back-to-back wise. We've got a couple of things that are important. The Philadelphia 76ers and the San Antonio Spurs are playing Saturday into Sunday, and we know that both of these teams are bad, and one of them, in particular, the Sixers, are going to be losing games. They also just ruled out Andre Drummond for the next 5 games. Bro, just say he's done. What are you doing? None of us expected Drummond is playing. None of us expected Oubre is playing. None of us, I guess Nick Nurse lied to us and told us, or maybe he didn't lie, we'll find out, with the Tyrese Maxey might come back. I don't expect that he plays, but yeah, that's where we're at with them. They're going to be doing the 2-way 10-day shuffle as well, so they're going to be a frustrating team to deal with. The Spurs are a little less frustrating to deal with. They're not randomly sitting guys. I do think that might occur at some point, but we're not quite there yet. The thing with them is that San Antonio, Portland, Miami are all within half a game. And yeah, Miami is going to make the play-in. That's the Eastern Conference. Even the Bulls are like 1.5 games ahead of the Spurs. But yeah, they make the play-in. But if they lose, they move back to this slot in the lottery. So the Spurs should be, and look, they're pretty safe with Miami and Chicago, I think. But they need to keep themselves in this 8th spot ahead of Portland. So they might start to lean in a little bit more to sitting guys down here. The other 2 teams in the West are Phoenix, who, again, they don't have their pick, so it doesn't matter to them where they are. And the Mavericks, who appear to be continuing to play ahead, and they're like 4 games clear. But the San Antonio-Portland one, that's one of those interesting lottery battles that we've got. In terms of the lottery battles, we've got the top 2, Utah-Washington. We've got the Charlotte-New Orleans at 3 and 4. We've got Brooklyn-Philadelphia at 5 and 6. Toronto's sort of sitting in the middle. Then it's San Antonio-Portland. Miami and Chicago are close by. And Dallas-Sacramento are within half a game of each other as well. That's sort of the lottery seeding battles and planned losses. Of course, when you get down to the bottom, those teams are pushing to the play-in anyway. The Sunday-Monday back-to-backs are more interesting to me. It's the Hornets, it's the Rockets, and the Clippers. And what we did get, thankfully, is notification on this. We heard that the other day, I mentioned this on the show, that Ty Lue had said that Amir Coffey was a chance to start on Sunday. I said, does that mean that Kawhi's sitting out the first game of the back-to-back? And yes. So get chat. I'm back. I'm not washed anymore. I got it. So Kawhi's out on Sunday. What I also think is going to happen for the Hornets, because they play the Jazz and the Pelicans on Sunday, Monday. We know LaMelo's done for the year. I actually think Mark Williams is going to sit both of these games. He played one of the last back-to-back they played. He played one of the 2 games, but the back-to-back prior to that, he sat both of them. I would not be shocked if Mark Williams, and in fact, I'm projecting that Mark Williams sits both of these games. And you're going to have games with Josh Okogie, Josh Green, even Miles Bridges, I think he's at risk of sitting. And we do have confirmation that Mark Williams is out on Sunday. I don't know about Monday yet, but I do believe, given who they are playing, Pelicans and Jazz, that Mark might sit on Sunday and Monday. Be prepared for it. Rockets should be pretty safe either way. I don't think we've got much to worry about there. Let's talk chunky stuff. We're talking Sunday into Thursday. This is more about when you're in roto leagues and if you've got limited moves and you're trying to make sure you catch up to your games caps, because in your fantasy playoffs you're not usually doing as, and maybe if you've got a two move maximum or season limit maximum moves, which is an insanely stupid way to play, you need to look at chunks a little bit more. And I've got these names here. They're all playing 3 games the next 5 nights. Now, there's some risky ones here for sure. But Ryan Rollins was ahead of Kevin Porter Jr. very clearly last game. Porter barely played. Rollins started. Yep, got him. Got Gary Trent. No Damian Lillard. They're good options. Tristan Vukcevic is going to be risky. Justin Champagnie is going to be risky. I do think that we get the 3 out of those guys here, but there can be randomness at any point with these teams. And then we get to Jared Butler in Philadelphia, who... The thing about Butler is that there's 34-minute upside, but in the games that Jeffy Doughton plays, and Doughton's got 2 games left, that Butler still gets 25 or 26, so that's okay. And then the other ones are Dem Boner. We know that Drummond's out. I don't think that Yabusele is going to play all 3 games, but I don't know. So we get at least 22 out of Boner across the 3 games in 5 nights, which also works out pretty well for us. If you want to look at 5s and 2s, again, we're not bound by the calendar. We are free thinkers over here. Over the next 7 days, from Sunday through to Saturday, the Clippers play 5 games. So a busy period. So you know that you're going to get Kawhi Leonard rests. I don't know about Norman Powell. I know that Powell is playing on Sunday. I know that Simmons is going to be out, obviously 2 of those 5 games as well. So 2 back-to-backs. So you're going to get 3 out of Kawhi, 3 out of Simmons. Powell, not sure. Harden, not sure. But at the moment, they're looking like they're set to play. The flip side of this is the Brooklyn Nets with an absolutely dreadful Week 24 schedule. They play 2 games over the next 7 nights. They play Monday, Thursday, Sunday next week. I think all of your Nets, you just drop them. It's really hard to look at any of those guys and go, yeah, I feel good about them. Because you don't. They've got a terrible schedule, and it's going to cost you, I think, if you hold on to Nets players for next week. If, of course, or not even if next week's your last week. They're not good enough to just absolutely lock yourself into them as you move forward in head-to-head formats. If you want to take a look at where the contracts are sitting, the 10 days and the two ways, Jeff Doughton has 2 games left. Now, I did tell you this yesterday. I know people always love to doubt me because Yahoo or ESPN doesn't have it updated. Guys, you know how often those guys do things wrong? How often they're not up with the news or don't have players in their database? Yeah, I will be wrong on things, but when I'm telling you something that I know, it's because I know it. It's not, and I'll tell you if I'm guessing or anything like that, but if Yahoo doesn't have it listed as out, that's because they're wrong. So Jeff Doughton, for the last 24 hours, he has been listed out on Saturday. Now, teams can do shifty stuff, and they can make adjustments to that. And they can then play someone and call them back up and make late changes to the injury report. That can happen. But Doughton has been listed out on Saturday for 24 hours. And it's not my problem that Yahoo or ESPN doesn't have that listed. Thankfully, if you watch this show, you at least knew that there was a possibility of that. And you took that into consideration versus looking at a Yahoo or ESPN injury report, which didn't have it. Because the official NBA injury report does. And it's not my problem that they didn't look at that. So Doughton is currently, the time of me recording this, still listed out for the game on Saturday. All that brings me to tell you is that Doughton has 2 games left. So he won't waste them Saturday, Sunday, because currently still at the time I'm looking at this, he is not listed. He's listed out for Saturday. So he can play Sunday, and then he can play one of their other games. But just be aware of that. Jalen Hood-Schifino has 7 left. Now, he is allegedly going to be active and available to play on Saturday with an illness, but Nurse said he won't play. But if you are listed active, that counts against your games played. So I've got the asterisk there on those Sixers guys because that's, if they play on Saturday, that'll knock that down. So if Hood-Schifino is active, he'll have 6 games left by the time we get to Sunday. If Alex Reese is active on Saturday, he'll have 4 games left. Now, I shouldn't have done it from Philip Wheeler and Marcus Bagley because they're on 10-day contracts, so it doesn't matter if they're active or not. So by the time we get to Sunday, Wheeler and Bagley are going to have 3 games left for Wheeler and 2 games left for Bagley, unless their 10 days get extended, which I do believe they probably will. Damian Bott in Charlotte's got 7 games left. He's currently still listed as being in the G League as well, so that's important. Although, no, you know what? That was incorrect for me. He's not currently listed in the G League. They haven't put out their official injury report yet, but on the tweet that the PR department for the Hornets put out, Ball wasn't listed on that. Now, they don't always put their G League assignments on their Twitter announcements. They put it on their official injury reports, so Ball may play. And especially with the guys that they have ruled out, the Hornets for Sunday, LaMelo's obviously out, but Seth Curry is out. Josh Green is out. And then we've got Mark Williams out as well, while Tijan Salan is questionable. So with Curry out, you might be getting ball playing. But he has got 7 games left currently. So we'll see if he plays Sunday, that takes one down. The other one there that's a two-way player that's important is KJ Simpson, and he can play every single game rest of season. And with ball done, I would expect that he plays 27 to 31 minutes a night. Rest of season, that is KJ Simpson. And then the other ones we look at there is Wendell Moore Jr.'s got 4 games left on his two-way for the Hornets. Alfred Payton's got 1 game left for the Pelicans on a 10-day, and that is his second 10-day, so I don't believe he can't sign another one. Jared Roden in Toronto's got 7 left. Now, he's been in the G League for a period of time. I believe he's upgraded and available for Sunday, but I'm not certain on that. And Cole Swider's got 4 games left to play on his 10-day, but he can sign another 10-day after that as well. We've got more to talk about, injury statuses, then some streaming stuff. But today's episode, it is brought to you by the Game Time app. There is nothing like watching basketball live or any sport live, to be honest. The energy of the crowd, you got the sounds, the smells, the celebrities, the non-celebrities, the regular people who are obviously better than celebrities at all points. So go over there and get your tickets, because the ticket buying process, you don't want it to be annoying. You want it to be great, and that's where Game Time Picks comes in. It filters out all the fluff and shows you only the best deals on the great seats. You don't have to waste time scrolling through thousands of tickets. The super deals as well, they highlight the best bang for your buck options over there on Game Time Picks so that you know that you're getting a great deal. And with seat views before you buy, you know you're getting a great deal. With no surprise fees, you know you're getting a great deal. And with the lowest price guarantee, well, you're guaranteed that you're getting a great deal. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Okay, that will now enable us to come in here and talk more about all the injuries, is what we're going to get into now. So let's take a look at the key statuses that we need to pay attention to. As always, the NBA injury report is a living, breathing document. It adjusts to modern times and modern sensibilities, and we need to see who's in and who's out at all points. At the moment, I do believe we may have updates on these Cavs guys, because Ty Jerome missed the last one, and I believe that he is out again, but Max Strus is available, so we do know that one. We know that Kawhi Leonard is out as well for the Clippers. The Knicks point guards, Jalen Brunson out. Juice McBride out, Cameron Payne out. And last game, instead of Tyler Kolek, who'd been getting 18 minutes as the backup, we got DeLon Wright go from 0 to 30. All right, what the hell? Now, at least I'm happy that I did at least mention DeLon Wright. I said if he does start all these split minutes, he's a way better player than Tyler Kolek, so he would be the fantasy option. But I didn't think that they'd take him from 0 to 30. But they did, so he's a great option, way ahead of Tyler Kolek now. You'll be shocked to know this, so just be careful if you're driving or anything. Jerami Grant is doubtful again. Is he going to play another game? I'm done on projections. I just zeroed him. He's done. He's not coming back. Knee soreness again for the 20th year in a row. Not happening. Done. The big fella's going to... At this point, I'm convinced he's taking the piss. And he's like, I'm never playing in April. Even if we make the playoffs, I'm just going to sit it out just to keep it going. He's never playing. Not happening. Is it 2021? Bro. Anthony Simons is also questionable, so that is an interesting one to take a look at. If he is out, and by the way, Scoot is out in the concussion protocol, that would mean, and I've been asked this question 30 times already, you know what that would mean? That would mean, yeah, it is Delano Banton time. So keep an eye on that. No Scoot, no Simons, maybe. In Detroit, Cade Cunningham and the thick hogsman Tobias Harris. No updates on them. Cade's missed all week, and Toby missed the last game. If they're out, it's Schroeder, it's Asar, and then it's Sasser after that group. In terms of some other injuries we look at there, well, the Hornets, like I said, we needed to pay attention to that, and they did rule everyone out, basically. But Miles Bridges is playing, but there's no Josh Green, there's no Seth Curry, there's no Mark Williams. Josh Okogie does return, though, so that is where we're at with that. We haven't got an update on this, but I do not believe for a million years that CJ McCollum and Zion Williamson are going to play on Sunday. That's because they're playing the Hornets, and they need to lose that game, and they had 3 days off during the week, and then both of those guys sat out their last game on Friday. I would be incredibly surprised if they played this game on Sunday. In fact, I'd be incredibly surprised if they play again this season, is my guess. But it's a guess. It's a guess. So that one I don't know, but I am marking them currently as doubtful for Sunday. The fact that we see them playing a terrible opponent on Sunday and they just had 3 days off and sat the game after that makes me think they are not playing. That's where I'm at with Zion and CJ. Steven Adams is not important much from a fantasy perspective, but if he is out, and he missed the last game, if he is out, what that means is Tari Eason's value rises. It means Jabari Smith gets a bump in his floor as well, because if Adams is there and they go that double big, Eason might play 21 minutes. But if he's out, he plays 28. And that's where that becomes important. The last one there is Brad Beal, who's dealing with a hamstring problem. I think even if he comes back, given the Suns have a terrible schedule next week as well, I think he'll be relatively limited. You'll get Gillespie getting a cut, O'Neal and Allen and Jones and those sort of guys. I'm not sure that I'd be rushing to add Beal, who's going to be relatively limited coming back, but we need to obviously pay attention to that as we move forward. Let's now talk about streaming. Let's talk about points league streaming. Let's look at who we can get in for the Yahoo format. Let's look at who we can get in for the ESPN format. And they are sort of similar, but they're not 100% the same, as you're well aware, because the scoring systems are different. So if we go to Yahoo points. Now, again, I'm going to be very transparent about the way that I'm projecting this out. I've already told you that in advance, I projected Kawhi Leonard to be out. Bang, that one came true. I already told you in advance I projected Mark Williams to be out. Bang, that one came true. I also thought that Miles Bridges would be out, but he's not. He's playing, so that's that one. And I'm also projecting that Zion Williamson and CJ McCollum will not play. So when I talk about the projections of these players, that is how I'm looking at it. I'm also projecting that Maxey and Oubre and that are out for Philadelphia, clearly. So I think that Kelly Olynyk, Yves Missi, and Bruce Brown look pretty interesting as Yahoo points league streamers. Brown played 32 minutes last game. Does that make any sense from a team construct perspective or development perspective? Of course it doesn't. And Brown could just as easily sit this one out and they go with Antonio Reeves. Or they try the big fella Jamal Cain. Or they give a start out of nowhere to Alfred Payton. But Olynyk, Missi, Brown, I like them. With my assumption that Mark Williams will be ruled out, and thankfully these graphics still look pretty good now because he was ruled out, Moussa Diabate is worth taking a look at here. Him and Yusuf Nurkic probably split those minutes. I've got Jose Alvarado on that list. It's been pretty disappointing, Alvarado. But again, I'm working on the assumption that the two best players remaining, Zion and CJ, are out. And then Ryan Rollins is there as well, because with Yanni back, I do think that Rollins will start again. He won't be as good as he was in the last game, but given the form of the last two games, I expect that he gets first crack and a longer leash at minutes than what Kevin Porter does. And that is obviously an important development. For ESPN points leagues, again, relatively similar stuff. Olynyk is there, but Ryan Rollins' value does bump quite a bit in an ESPN points leagues. The steals that he does, he's a master. He's a master thief. So he gets steals quite a bit, but he's been scoring well. The assists are solid, and I think the minutes are all right. I've got Alvarado there, another good steals guy who gets the ESPN bump. Moussa Diabate. I've got Adem Boner on there as well. Now, I think there is a risk of Gershon Yabusele sitting the second half of the back-to-back. He's had knee problems all season, and very clearly they don't want to win. And their game on Sunday, I believe, is against the Nets, who, again, they are battling for to make sure they keep themselves in the 5-hole. Or is it against the Raptors? It's against someone terrible, and they're going to want to make sure that they lose. The other one there is Brucey Brown, but there is a slight level of risk associated with Brown just because, like I said, there is a chance they just say, nah, and we'll go with Peyton, or we'll go with Reeves, or we'll go with Jamal Cain, or we go with whatever else we can pick up off this scrap heap of Keon Brooks and start somebody like that. That is all possible given the quality of the opponent, which is Charlotte, on Sunday, and they try to make sure that they keep themselves in a better lottery position. We're going to talk category league streaming. Of course we are. And we're going to go through and start by looking at the points category to begin things. So who can we stream in for just regular old points? A lot of the names, again, there is a dependence or an assumption, and this is what I do. I do projections. I project. I don't react. Reaction is part of projections, but I project. I don't react. I'm projecting that Zion and CJ are out. So Bruce Brown, Jordan Hawkins, we like the opportunity for them to score in this matchup. They could also get hit, but I don't mind it. We know that LaMelo Ball is out. We know that Josh Green is out. So I'm pretty certain Nick Smith is going to start and get quite a few minutes here. It's KJ Simpson and Nick Smith who probably get a big boost here. And if they do activate Damian Ball, which they could, he's in the mix as well. I also predicted that Kawhi Leonard will be out. And that means Amir Coffey's almost certainly going to get minutes or at least start. So this might be a spot for him. And then, because it is National Pencil Day, what about the pencil himself, Harrison Barnes? Barnesy! Yeah, And then Bogdanovic. I believe the last time we saw Kawhi out, Bogdanovic played like 35 minutes and absolutely cooked. Now, will he do it again? I don't know. But obviously with no Kawhi there, who's been playing 39 minutes a night and taking a lot of shots, then yeah, there's a bit of an opportunity here for Bogdanovic to do a little bit more. If you look at 3, some of these similar names are there. By the way, the Raptors are continuing their rest plan. So there's no Pirtle and there's no Quickly. Again, for those guys on Sunday, even though, again, I don't see how they're moving out of this spot and this on-again, off-again thing. I don't know what they're going to are they going to continue to do it? I did say that after the Sunday game, if they win this game on Sunday, the Raptors, I think that basically ends the hope that they might have to move themselves into a better lottery spot, because they're going to be just so far ahead of Brooklyn and Philadelphia that it's going to be pointless, and I'm not sure that rest on-again, off-again plan continues. So they go the Sixers on Sunday, the team that is going to try the hardest to lose every game. Then they go Bulls, Blazers, Pistons. So yeah, I'm not sure that the resting continues after this, and Sunday might be the last day of it. But I don't know. Anyway, that's a long way of saying Jamison Battle can get you 4 threes. It could be Ochai Agbaji in there. It could be Cole Swider, but they're giving Battle opportunities to do this. I've got Bogdanovic and Jordan Hawkins and Jose Alvarado and Nick Smith. I talked about all of their value already, tied to absences either confirmed or presumed. And the last one there on the 3-point streaming list is Vit Krejci, who, honestly, he's actually just worth probably a look as an ad long term anyway, because he's starting now. The night watchman Mohamed Wayuge is out of the rotation, so Krejci's in. He played 26 last game. He can easily play 30, and he's shown an ability to do really good things on court, but also as a fantasy guy as well. So I do like Vit Krejci in that particular spot. For assists, the big fella Jamal Shed, who's absolutely not the big fella, but quickly's done. Well, not done. He's just not playing on Sunday, so Shed should start. Now, is he too good to play big minutes? Probably, but they're also at the stage, I think, where they're going to be like, oh, let's just see. So I like that. I like Jared Butler. Doughton might return on Sunday. Definitely possible, but Butler is absolutely worth considering for assists irrespective. You've got Jose Alvarado. We go to San Antonio for deeper leagues. Blake Wesley, who probably gets 21 or 22 minutes, and it's on a back-to-back. Do we finally see Chris Paul sit a game? Maybe. Ryan Rollins and KJ Simpson, 2 absolutely under-rostered players who have the ability to start and play 30 minutes and get 7 assists. And usually we do not get many assist guys on the waiver wire, but on a day like this, where Shed, Butler, Alvarado, Rollins, Simpson all could play 30 minutes and get 7 or 8 assists, that is a situation that just doesn't show up all that often. For steals, it has to be Ryan Rollins. We know that. He's at the top of the list, followed by Alvarado. I'm going to put Chris Dunn in there as well, who should get a bump with Kawhi out. And DeLon Wright, also, he's like the prototypical Chris Dunn. The guy, Chris Dunn before Chris Dunn, that's hit some threes, get some assists, get some steals, some out-of-position blocks. He was a fantasy beast who just never got the minutes due to injuries and other things in his play. But yeah, he's an interesting guy here with those Knicks point guards ruled out. I've got Brucey Brown there, and of course the Steelers legend himself, the painter Matisse Thybulle. And there are guys out in Portland. That might mean we get a few extra minutes from Thybulle. For the free throw percentage stream guys, we're going to look at Amir Coffey, Nick Smith, Michael Conley, Richard Council IV, Jared Butler, and Bogdanovic. All these guys should have elevated roles, some of them like Council and Bogdanovic and Coffey, due to absences of other players, but all of those guys are pretty good free throw players to look at. For rebounds, we worked on the assumption that Mark Williams would be out. Mark Williams is out, so both Yusuf Nurkic and Moussa Diabate are worth looking at. We've got no Yucca Pirtle, and there's no Colin Castleton, so Orlando Robinson's here. You've got Adem Bona in Philadelphia. You've got Bismack Biyombo, who continues to start for reasons I don't really understand. And then there is Johnny Mobo as well in Toronto, who can be a 6 or 7 or even a 10 rebound player with the absence of Pirtle really, really working in his favor. For blocks, some of these names carry over. That's why we put all the big man stats together at the end of the stream show here. Bona, Biyombo, Carlo Makovic, Oso Iguodaro, Isaiah Stewart, and Mitch Robinson, who you could even easily throw Mitchy Robinson into the rebound stream pile as well. And lastly, for the streaming, we're going to go to field goal percentage eventually. Moussa Diabate, Adem Bona, Mitch Robinson, Osa Iguodaro, Carlo Matko Makovic, and Bismack Biyombo as a field goal percentage streamer. And that streams me through to the end of the show on Pretzel Sunday. Get your pretzels out, get your lineup set, get your whatever else you need to get done. Keep the positive thinking going. We've got 2 weeks to go in the season, but the positive thinking is not just about fantasy. It's about ourselves and our lives, and we've just got to always recognize that there are things that we do well. So let's just keep doing them well. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.